Stop overpaying taxes. Here are the 3 reasons why you're likely overpaying. The biggest reason why Americans overpay in taxes is not taking the time to plan ahead. A lot of people tend to feel that taxes are just something that happens to us. It's outside of our control, there's not much we can do about it, and in reality, the media doesn't really do a lot to help change that narrative. If you think about it, a lot of the media tells us how tax loopholes are only for the super wealthy and the large corporations, and that the middle class Americans pay the most in taxes. Although that might be true, it doesn't mean that there's nothing we can do to change our situation. Like with anything, if you empower yourself with the rules of the game, then you can play to win. Believe it or not, we all play by the same set of rules, whether you are middle income, high income, or low income. And so understand that tax benefits are available to everyone, not just the super wealthy. So that's something very easy to overcome. All you need to do is to make sure you take time out specifically to meet with your tax person outside of the March and April tax filing dates, go over what kind of strategies you can use to save on taxes in the coming year. And before you get scared about this whole term of tax planning, it actually doesn't mean that you as an investor have to learn everything about taxes. In fact, you don't really need to know much about taxes at all. True tax planning is simply a conversation that you have with your tax advisor where you talk about what are your personal goals, what are your investment goals, what are your financial goals. And through those conversations, your tax advisor will be able to help you curate a tax plan that you can follow to reduce your taxes in the long run. The other reason that a lot of people tend to overpay in taxes is not working with the right tax advisors or tax accountants. Unfortunately for our industry, most accountants are not specialists. That means they deal in all kinds of tax work. So you can have a CPA that handles a lot of real estate, but also handles a lot about manufacturing and food and beverage and solar. And the issue with that is the tax law is so complex that it's going to be very, very difficult for someone to become an actual expert in a specific niche if their time is spent dealing with all sorts of different things within the tax world. So if your wealth building vehicle is real estate, make sure that you seek out the advice of a CPA who is well versed in real estate. It makes a world of a difference if they know what you're talking about in terms of your real estate transactions, and they're able to help guide you in terms of what are the tax strategies that are only unique and specific to real estate transactions. Now, accountants, we are not known to be very creative people. Let's face it, right? Accountants are usually very detailed rule followers, and all those are really great, and those are must-have traits in your tax advisor. However, it is important to make sure you seek out the advice of someone who is creative and strategic. What I mean by that is not just looking at the rules as rules, but how can we utilize the rules to our benefit? In other words, how can we create the right facts so that the rule favors our ability to save on taxes? And if you want to know how do I find this magical, amazing tax advisor, here's a tip for you. Don't ask silly questions like everybody else does. What I hear people say all the time is to ask, hey, do you work with real estate investors? Well, guess what? 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be, yes, I work with real estate investors. Why? Because they have at least one client who owns some sort of real estate or rents out a room in their home. So ask more powerful questions. What type of tax strategies do your real estate investors love using? Tell me more about accelerated depreciation, right? What are your successful real estate clients doing in today's market? Once you ask those powerful questions, then keep your mouth shut and listen. That is their time to shine and wow you with their experience, what their clients are doing, and what are all the different ways that they've helped their clients to save on taxes. The third reason why most Americans overpaying taxes is not asking the right questions. What I typically see is people will ask, can I take this tax deduction? For example, can I write off my kids? Well, the answer is probably no. You can't write off your kids. They're just a personal expense. But what if you rephrased it? What if the question was, how can I write off my kids? Well, that's a powerful question, and that puts you and your tax advisor in a more creative headspace. How can you write off your kids? Well, what if your kids helped you out in your real estate business? What if they helped with restocking your Airbnb? What if they were helping you with cleaning up properties during tenant or guest turnovers, right? So that small word of how now turns a no answer into a maybe answer. So another example is, can I write off my summer vacation to Florida? Well, no, you can't. It's a summer vacation. But how can I write off a summer trip to Florida is a whole different story. How can you do it? Well, are there business activities that you could be doing? Can you make those arrangements ahead of time? Do you have an investor? Is there a property that you're interested in? If you can create those facts so that you can show the reason you're going to Florida is for all those business activities, then there's nothing that says you can't also spend a day or two going to Disney World. Can you take a tax deduction for a trip? No. How can you? Well, maybe. There's a lot of things that could be done to turn them into legitimate business expenses. So there you have it, the 3 most common reasons why many Americans overpaying taxes. Not doing planning, not working with the right tax advisors, and not asking the right questions. And so you can see those are things that are very, very easy for you to accomplish without being a CPA, without learning all the stuff there is to know about taxes, right? Find the right advisor, set up a meeting so you can plan with them, and ask the questions of how can I? If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more tax saving strategies, and be sure to check out our library of other videos on ways to save on taxes and keep more of what you make.